I don't know what your little board says though. Find the password, enter the password, change errors. Oh. Did you read the minutes for November? Okay. Oh. I don't know if they're different today, but I've got the email today. There's some other more packets.
If you want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't know you.
John. Hey.
Where's your hearing aid? Turn it up.
Turn it on. What they do with that? Position for classified lines in the slide page or students and right. I just want the map like that. Yeah.
Hey, 6:30.
Days from days from.
We got stand for the flag.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got? Sure.
All right, Mike, all right.
And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda review, is there anything anyone would like to change around on the agenda? Comments from select board members from anything that's not on the agenda?
I'll make one. A week ago, I made a decision to call Brandon, and I am selling punch tickets for the dump, at the dump, 9 a.m.
We're over there.
9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday morning. That is the schedule. I do and will show up some other time, but I will definitely be there 9 to noon.
Is that cash only? Is that
No, that is cash, check, or credit.
And how do they do the credit there?
On my phone, right to the town website.
Huh.
I let people start doing it themselves right out of the gate, and this is a little bit on me, but the phone was given to me, and I clicked on Google and saw something I didn't want to see, and then I never verified the total or checked the box to make sure that they selected the right place for the payment to go. And so I just decided to start doing it myself. And they read me the number and I process the whole thing. So that one, and I've got their name, I've got the confirmation number from that account. So if there's a problem, we can get a hold of them.
I can volunteer for some hours, but I would only do cash or check.
I would not want to do that because it's too much of a hassle passing stuff back and forth, not keeping track of the numbers and the records. You want to do it? You go do it. You go talk to them. You get a pile and you go do it yourself.
No,
you take your package and I'll take mine.
Are you doing this every Saturday?
Yes.
This past Saturday.
Saturday I was there for 2 hours. Sunday
and
sold 14 10s and 5 5s. So, and being the first Sunday, nobody really knew. Everybody that was there already had cards.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I got Jeff telling everybody when they come up and get punched. That's Mike Todd. He's selling tickets. Cash, check, credit, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And everybody is like, thank you. Amazing. So much. Yada, yada. So, yeah. So we're good. And I reconciled tonight and everything's good. I just talked to Susie and things.
It's good. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Well, if you want more hours, I'll do a couple hours too.
Well, like I said, you're going to do your own package because they're assigned by number, and
Yeah, each
Yeah.
ticket has its own number, yeah.
each ticket, you gotta keep track of it all, you gotta have cash, you gotta,
And
but that, I just don't wanna be passing it back and
No,
forth, trying
I
to
hear
figure
you.
out what's going on between a couple of different people.
Yeah. Okay.
Were you like overwhelmed by the amount of sales?
No,
Yeah.
no, 19 at 5 hours, basically. That's actually 6 hours, because I actually went at 8 this past Saturday.
As the word gets out and more people start using it, we might be second. So we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens.
Yeah,
Well, I also do plan on, I plan on going over sometime Wednesday for at least a couple hours. I went Sunday for a couple hours this week. So there'll be more. I just only wanted to commit to
Yeah,
a
set
certain
time,
block
yeah.
so that my
Makes
life
sense.
didn't evaporate into dope.
Town manager.
So a couple of quick comments. The select board packet has been updated. It includes the 11, 10, 25 meeting minutes and an update on the town manager morning. So if you look on your packet, I've got it's in the 11, 10 minutes. The town meeting warning was just changed to reflect February 28th, and it's the town meeting since March. And just received the 11-10 revised meeting minutes today.
Was that the bottom? Or at the end of the packet, because I'm not up. Yeah, it's just, you know.
Are you in the?
But it's one at that.
Did you click on 11-10?
It's on 11, yeah.
November 10th is
Not a wire man.
those are the first, that's page 2 of the packet. Those are the ones where John Harris's name, is that the right one? Yes. These are the ones we've been having trouble with
Right.
the corrections. You were John Harrison.
Oh.
You were John
okay,
Harrison.
Different one. We just went on to the regular
Is
one.
that correct?
Yeah.
And we have a
And the rest of
different.
the packet. Oh, okay. The rest of the packets in this one email version.
Okay, so you gotta go and open another one? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, click on the packet.
I did, that was my packet.
Right now.
Let's see.
Yeah.
You make it too easy.
So was it you that did this? You did it.
Yeah, she actually did all the minutes.
Is that it? Anything else?
A couple other things. Draft chapters of the town planner are available on the planning commission's website. So then
What was the first, the very beginning, what's available?
the draft town plan. The land use administrator asked me to ask the board to review these documents and they can be found on the planning commission page. He anticipates holding a public hearing sometime in March. Right. That based on that way.
I would only add to that it's gonna be a lot of reading, folks, because, as we were going through these, we were moving stuff from draft to final draft and ended up with a long list of chapters coming your way all at once.
Are these the plain copies or the ones that are the red line?
No, these should be clean copies.
Okay.
These should be clean copies though, too.
It's the red line.
Double check with Brian on that.
Okay.
At our last meeting, we did have an issue come up that was, it's a good issue for us to be talking about. It has to do with the scenic byways and protections. We have that in the current town plan, but they're just kind of listed as this section of this road looking this way, kind of like that. And in our conversations at the planning commission with Annette Smith, that wasn't enough to actually protect some of that stuff. You need latitudes and distance and lines of sight, all that stuff. You got to be much more specific. So we put the Conservation Commission to work on that. They did a great job but it's like 22 sites now that they're looking at, and they only did this for us at this point in time, planning commission. And they used a thing called a tier system, tier 1, 2, 3, to kind of identify for us how they got and what they have for information and what it means. But it doesn't mean anything as far as the actual town plan. We are going to hold off on that. It's not going to be in this current town plan. It's going to take too long to go through that. They've got other work to do. We've got other work to do. It'll probably be 6 months to a year before we finish that. And then we'll submit it as an update. We'll redo that chapter as an update because we've got to get the town plan done. So we're going to pretty much, we might tweak the language a little bit, but I don't think so. If that comes to us already on a piece, it's done. That's kind of what I wanted to get to. You're not going to see a change sneak in.
So we're keeping what's in the town plan now?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think there's 7, 6 or 7, I think, sites that are called out in there. So. And thank you to the Conservation Commission, and they did a lot of work. And we're looking at doing boots on the ground ourselves, but on some of this stuff. So.
A couple more updates. Town office will be closed next Monday in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Once the budget process is complete, we'll need to shift back to policy discussions, including the fireworks policy, rules of procedure, meetings of the Memorial Growth Committee Politics Coordinator, and change. They also want to focus on developing policies for committees that are created by statute. I have one that I identified, which is the Veterans Committee. Be consistent with the rest of the committees that we have policies for. We received a request to reclassify highways number 112 and 118. So those documents are posted.
Before you move on to the next, sorry to interrupt you, but you mentioned the schedule for next week. Monday is closed. The planning commission meeting will be on Tuesday. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we get that out there.
We received a request to reclassify highways number 112 and 118. Documents posted online. I also sent them to you via email. We prepare with the memo outlining the request and the next steps that we need to take in order to fill the request.
Those are both sections of the Crown Point Road.
We've also received a request to install a gate on John Jensen Road. So the request, Kelly and I have discussed it, so we'll need to decide. These are terms or the side somewhere on. The purpose we're going to one something down 105 submitted.
And this is the rescue trip.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to walk down to New Cherry Grove.
It's in Michigan.
Cherry Grove, Cadillac, Michigan. This is a quick reminder, public hearing tomorrow at 16.
Review minutes from previous meetings. 11/10/25.
these all correct? Yeah.
It appears to be, I didn't do a thorough review of them at the time today. They did. They still not using them.
Still don't have 20,000 on the list of those present. Yeah. No, we fix them now. Now that she's not here anymore.
So
It's just, you must have to talk to them. You can just talk to them. Can we make a motion to accept the minutes with those corrections?
Should we, yeah, I don't see why not. If we're gonna make corrections, just make a motion with corrections like we have before. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, 11:10. I think it was, with corrections.
Second.
Okay. One of the ones that I think I found that was, had to do with the Old Bow Road. It was the extension on the Old Bow Road. And I think that should be much more clear, because we have roads that are named. Well, for instance, what is it? We're Upper Falls Road Extension. That's an extension to a road, and this isn't clear that it's, what this was
To reclassify the extensions.
to extend. Yes, the deadline and times for the extension, because the contract we signed to do that said it had to be done within a year.
Right.
So that's what we extended, and it's kind of doesn't really say
It
that.
doesn't say anything. No.
And I pointed that out when that motion was made. We had that discussion that it was about that. So it needs to be.
It shouldn't specify what the extension is for.
Yes, exactly.
Would you like me to clarify those minutes again?
Yeah.
Let's see.
You're familiar with the subject, obviously, so
Yep.
you can recapture that.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. I remember asking it as a question. What is it we're doing?
Just a brief description of what the discussion was about. Yeah. Extension of the agreement.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any extensions? Motion carries.
I think
Extension.
there was more to it. There was more. Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
you're jumping ahead a little bit too fast here. It says under COLA, it says Kelly O'Brien did not vote. I believe you did. If I'm not mistaken.
I think I was gone.
No,
This is
no,
the meeting I got.
no. This was the COLA. You were
Yeah,
here.
because you seconded the motion. According to line D.
I remember pointing this out as something that needed to be corrected before. You were here and you voted in favor. DeForest recused herself. Yes. And then there's another one down below that has to do with another vote, and I think it's
When we do a roll call.
health insurance. I think Rico was online. Health insurance. Let me see, where am I at? 11 COLA, 12 health insurance, and C below that. Michael Todd votes A, Nathan votes A, Rika votes A. DeForest was abstained or recused. Yeah, recused. And there's nothing for Kelly.
I was gone. That's what I
It
left.
says right before that.
Had left and turned it over. So that part you're gone for. So that's okay. So, but it should say that you had left.
I'm not sure why there's a roll call, because nobody was online during that.
That's
They
right.
were, they didn't, it's not listed at the top under the attendance.
Yeah, no, I was here that night.
Yeah, and so was Nathan.
Yeah, everyone was here.
So there was no reason for a roll call.
Okay, so just remove the roll call votes and
Yes.
well, except for
But just because I recused doesn't mean you need to vote.
no, doesn't mean you need a roll call, but you got to 4 in favor, DeForest recused.
Right.
You just
Yeah.
just clarify it.
What?
And that would be the same as the other one.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure Kelly voted in the, on the COLA.
I didn't.
Huh?
I did not.
You did not vote on the
No,
COLA?
I did not.
But it
Really?
says you left after the health.
I did not vote on that, though.
Okay. I won't argue with you. I'm sure you will.
Three in favor.
And one recused.
And one,
So
and
if
one,
Kelly left before that motion was taken.
I believe I did, because I don't think I was here for that.
Because it says after item 12, which is 2026 health insurance, after that discussion, then it says Kelly O'Brien exits the meeting at 8:54.
I'm gonna go back and look.
It would lead one to believe that you didn't leave the meeting until after the discussion.
But I know I didn't vote, so even if I was here, I don't think I voted. Because I think the motion would have carried even if I did, so.
Okay.
but it
All right,
doesn't,
so I just,
well, it doesn't have to be a roll call though. Like
No.
you said, it could be 3 in favor, DeForest recused, Kelly O'Brien abstained.
Yeah.
That's all it needs to say. I think she's just, getting used to how to do all that stuff. Because in other places she says all in favor. For whatever reason, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
it's okay. Is she gonna be coming back, Brandon, or not?
She resigned for medical reasons.
Okay, so she's not coming back at all, no intention, okay, all right. So that's, I think that covers the changes we've already voted on anyway.
Ready to move on to the 12/22 one? Motion to accept the minutes from 12/22/26.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah. B, under 7, ladder truck discussion. Chief John Combo. I knew there was one I was looking for here. Probably have to write these down when I find them. It'd be easier. Just novel thought. Yeah, I think there's another one. T. Michael Todd moves to transfer 100% of the insurance payment to the fire apparatus reserve account. This is where one word was left out, I think. Because it's 100% of the balance, because I think there was $100 or $1,000 that had to do with something else, if I remember right.
Insurance, right? The copay.
But the insurance payment is gonna exclude the deductible. So I think it's. I think it's
That's right.
language is fine.
Okay. All right.
Number 10, I, says John Compo again. And under J, she just put Chief Compo instead of number, but that's fine.
Speaking of that, somewhere in the minutes I read, where Mr. Palmer, Mr. Palmer could have brought Sheriff Palmer. That probably is
Yeah.
official title we should be using.
Mr. Palmer, yeah, it's under number 7, M.
The motion was not to appoint John Arison as the Conservation Committee representative to the Memorial Grove. He's the member at large. We haven't appointed a Conservation Committee representative. So that's page,
Yeah, you know that exists.
page 14 and 55, and it is item 11E.
We put John in just as a town member, right?
Yeah, he's the public.
Yes.
Public at large.
Yeah.
We haven't appointed anybody from the conservation.
No.
Committee. And it's the conservation commission, not conservation.
It does say that.
It's conservation committee, it should say conservation commission.
Oh, above it, under A, it says Conservation Commission, so.
Oh. It's an easy slip.
Yeah.
That's probably something. Yeah, yes.
Anything else, or is that it? I think we made your life pretty busy here.
So I've got two areas to change from compost to Josh compost. One area to change Mr. Palmer to Sheriff Palmer. I've got a revision to appoint John Harrison to the member at large. Change conservation committee.
I've got one more, I just wanna point out right now, but I don't know that it needs to be a change that we need to worry about. And that is under adjournment, it doesn't have the time.
Doesn't have time.
Okay.
It should have the time.
Should always be.
That's easy enough. After
All those in favor with all these changes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carries. Next on the agenda, Mr. Harrison with Weathersfield School update.
Thank you. Several things of interest since the last time I was in here. This just came through last week. We received an agreement from Agency of Education called the Articles of Agreement of BOCES, which is the Board of Cooperative Educational Services. That's the big long name. What it is, I'm going to read off the FUs that are actually in this agreement. Mountain View, which is Woodstock, all the way into Killington, Pomfret, Bridgewater, Springfield, South, Two Rivers, which is Chester, Ludlow, all the way up to Mount Holly, Wyndham Northeast, which is Bellas Falls, and Wyndham Southeast, which takes it all the way to the Mass Ford. What this is, it allows us to share services, share professional services, and hopefully evolve into purchasing and other avenues that we could, it'll save money, and it'll be a better system. This has been in the works for quite some time. It actually predated Act 73 by quite a bit. Whether it saves money, it should. I can see someday going transportation services with one contract that should make it more competitive. And I think it's quite exciting that unfortunately, Hartford isn't in it. I don't know why. But anyway, we're in a good position. I think it has the potential to help all the SUs significantly.
And excuse me, how many SUs total did you mention in that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different SUs. Like I said, it goes west as far as Mount Holly, north as far as Pomfret and Killington, and we are the northern edge as far as up and down the Connecticut River. I don't know the structure that's going to administer it. That is still going to evolve. I will make sure as much as I can that it doesn't add another layer of bureaucracy, because bureaucracy doesn't usually save money, it costs money. So,
Before you get back, point of order.
Yeah.
Could we let the report be given before we get into questions?
Yeah.
And just write them down and move on that way. That way John can get through his report.
The second thing that we started working on about a month and a half ago, and I was kind of spearheading this one, is changing over the entire school to LED lighting. And anybody want to take a stab at how many fluorescent lamps are in that school? Take a wild guess.
1,000.
Hmm?
1,000.
1,400.
Oh my God, I would have won the bet. I would have won. That's what I'm doing.
So there's about a mile of fluorescent lights in that building. Efficiency Vermont right now has a program where they will furnish all the LED lamps. We have to get them installed. So the expense to install will be on us. The lamps themselves we have to, as usual, we have to finish the project, front the money. When it's completed, we get reimbursed. Not unusual with grants. We have a capital fund with almost 300,000 in it. We've taken so many. I'm speaking out of turn. This hasn't been approved. I'm assuming we'll take some money out of the capital fund and reimburse it when the money comes back. And also probably the labor will do the same thing. Preliminary projections are they'll save at least $5,000 or $6,000 per year, and that's being very conservative in electric bill. And the other part of it is the school's 20 years old. The ballots are 20 years old. If you walk through the school right now, there's a lot of lamps out. So it'll cut down on the maintenance that we're going to do. It'll get all the fluorescent tubes out of there and the risk of falling and breaking. And another part of that we're, thanks to the solid waste district, we can get rid of the old lamps for free. We have to box them and put them in a central spot. I've already talked to Raymond about how to do that. So anyway, I think it's an exciting project that has the potential to make the school better. Another part of that we discovered, in this one, we still got significantly more discussion to make. All the emergency lighting is 20 years old. It's all integral to the light fixtures, and that hasn't been resolved. Back to how we're going to fix that. The last item that I got, and this is, I'm really happy to report this one. You might have seen it in the paper where Secretary of State started a program called the Kid Governor program. And she started this about 3 months ago. And it's strictly for 5th grade. And all the schools were invited. I think 150 schools participated. Anyway, a lot of schools participated in the program. They nominated kids. One of our 5th graders was approved and voted in by over 1,000 votes. So, and they had their first meeting today. He didn't get to be governor, but he will be the secretary under the governor. And the governor, I believe, was elected by the 7 students that were voted in. That's pretty exciting. That out of that many kids that we got finalists, and I think it spurs interest in civics. How government works. Each one of the candidates had to present video and a written presentation, and all the schools had to watch it to decide who they were going to vote for. So it wasn't just a popularity contest.
Yeah.
That's it. Questions?
Can his name be released?
We already did this McNaughton's.
But
Galen McNaught.
Galen McNaughton was the winner that you're talking
well, I
about.
didn't want to mention names.
We'd already congratulated him.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
Yeah.
How much do you think the labor will cost to change over the lights?
There's 2 parts to it. Some of it has to be done by a licensed electrician. That's most of the emergency lighting. I talked to the principal today, and I'm hoping that we can find 3 responsible high school kids that'll help with the project this summer. I think we'll still be hard pressed to get it done in one summer. I mean, get it finished till the following summer. Because our current staff, we have 3 people doing maintenance and then various janitorial staff in each of the buildings. But they have really got their hands full trying to get the schools ready. Empty the rooms, strip the floors, fix it, clean it, deep clean it. They don't have time. It's that simple. So if we can pull that off, the labor, maybe $4,000, maybe a little bit more. The emergency lighting is a different story.
That's not bad. And then we're still having that savings of 2,000 first year.
Yeah. No, it's a good program, and even with the expenses that we're going to incur, the payback should be under 2 years. And traditionally, Efficiency Vermont, they basically phased out most of the lighting incentives because the paybacks are so quick.
So we've still got solar panels on the roof, right?
We do. We don't own them. It's like the ones over at the town garage.
Yeah.
And last time it's funny, I signed warrants. And I picked up the electric bill. Our electric bill runs about $5,000 a month for the school. And and I didn't bring the numbers with me. But anyway, we do the same thing. We pay the electric bill, we send a check to Norwich Solar, or whatever it's called, Weathersfield Incorporated. Weathersfield Elementary School Incorporated. It's exactly the same setup we have with the same company. That and last time I did the math, it saved us about $800 a month on.
And we're still using wood chips
Yes.
to heat the building with?
Yes. I saw the bill on that. And we're using a little more oil than I thought we would. I know they fire it. Not economical to start it until probably November. You get some oil you're using at each end of the season. The state does the same thing. I don't go off a tangent, but all the state buildings in Montpelier are heated with a central wood chip plant. And on a really cold day, it's designed to work at 25 below zero. They go through 90 tons of chips a day. 2 boilers the size of this room. Nonetheless, just think it was all oil. But they do the same thing. If it's in the fall, they turn on the oil, and in the spring, they turn on the oil.
And where are wood chips coming from?
New York, New Hampshire, Vermont. A lot of them are coming from New York. Because you guys got other things to do. It sits right next to a railroad siding. So I question why they're using the rail. Because they freeze in the cars. So there's a pretty long, they can delivery every day.
It's like, wow. Like,
John, is there any other update on education costs, budget increases?
Our budget was approved. I gave those numbers last time. As far as we tripped the excess spending threshold. Mount Scottney, aka Windsor, also tripped it. Harlan also tripped it. I can't imagine that we're unique to the state. Each one of the board members have contacted our senators and representatives and asked that it added 3% to our increase, the excess spending. And it's really an unfair. I understand why it's there, but it's such a significant penalty, and the number that they give you that you're supposed to hit is unrealistic. You're just not going to hit it. And the fact that all 3 of us didn't, it's got to be some kind of an indication. I haven't seen any numbers as to how many across the state haven't, but I'm anticipating that a lot of senators and representatives are getting bombarded with, you got to do something about this, just adding to a problem that's a big enough problem without this.
so how much of a penalty are we paying?
Every dollar you go over is a dollar more you have to send to Montpelier.
So how much are we?
I don't have the number in front of me. I don't recall offhand, I don't want to spell out or how much over we are.
And why are we over?
Because education's expensive. Most of the things that we can do to any levers that we have to pull that adjust the budget affect the function of the school. There are some things you can do. All of them are uncomfortable. Right now, we have 2 teachers for all the grades. Most of the classes are between 13 and 15 kids. I'm not at all in favor of trying to combine that. group. I've talked with several of the teachers, and I know when I went to school, the classes were 20 to 30, but times are different. And if you want to meet the needs of the kids and the problems that we have within our schools, the schools aren't just teaching their parents now. Like it or not, to a certain level, the schools are the parents. We feed the kids sometimes 3 meals a day. We help clothe the kids at times. I'm not saying all the kids, but nonetheless, we fill a social function that schools didn't used to have to do. And some of the problems that are coming with the children are really expensive. By far, our largest expense that we cannot do anything about right now is special ed. That's what's driving the SU budget. If a kid moves into town and we have to send them to someplace in New Hampshire, they run $100,000 a year. We're responsible for at least 10% of it. But part of the problem with that is that there's a pool of money that the state has set aside for special ed. And as long as it doesn't get exceeded, we get paid 90%. If it gets exceeded, all of a sudden we get reimbursed. And it's a really hard number, but we truly don't know what that number is until well into the budget cycle. You don't know who's going to move into town the next year. Is there a solution to it? Anybody's got one, let me know. Let's see what we can do, but it's a tough one. And education is, well, anybody that listened to the governor's opening speech last week or week before, he compared, and I remember when I was on education committee, I remember talking about this. Mississippi was doing something to, couldn't really put your hand on exactly what they did, but they rapidly went from the bottom of the heap to near the top for less money than more spending. How they did it, I haven't done enough research to tell you they did X, Y, and Z. But I think that's really an eye-opener when something like that happens, because us pompous Vermonters tend to look down our noses at the people down south along the coast.
That's a question.
John, you were on the education committee of the legislature. And so my question starts to revolve around the problem that we have had for an extended period of time, which is double-digit increases in the cost of education year over year, over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There was talk in the last legislative session and the one before that about trying to figure out some sort of solution that has to do with this funding or education cost or whatever that is. And you may have touched on a piece of it just now, in comparison to what that was you was talking about. But what is our legislature doing now to try to address that? Are they, because I've seen some bills that have come out that got nothing to do with dealing with this problem and the cost of education. And I'm tempted to try to start a statewide campaign to just say no to all the school budgets, because it doesn't end the current school year. Current school year would still finish, but it would send a message to the legislature to get off your ass and do something about this. It's time to figure out what's wrong with funding Vermont's education system. Our schools are fine. Our kids, I think, are ranked 3rd in the country, if I'm not mistaken. We're doing education.
Yes.
We're doing good there, but we're also second in the country for cost. The only state that costs more than us is New York, according.
There's some conflicting numbers, but we're definitely right up there.
Okay, but per capita, we got to do better. I mean, you earlier you mentioned this change in this SU's getting together and coming up with something that's going to save us money. I'm sorry, but I've been hearing that the SU's and consolidations and all of this stuff is going to save us money, save us money, save us money. It's not what we're seeing, and you know that.
I suggest that you ask your senators and your representative to stand where I'm standing and ask them. I'm no longer in Montpelier.
I understand that. I understand. I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm trying
I know.
yes, I know. Um, but I really think that our legislature needs a kick in the butt to get on this problem.
I'll give you my own personal take on it. That Vermont is like it or not, Vermont really doesn't have revenue sources that some states have. We're not industrialized. We rely quite heavily on the taxes that all of us pay. We rely pretty heavily, obviously, on our property tax. Most people, if you ask them, or most people, let me rephrase that, most people are under the impression that the line that comes in on your tax bill is what funds the schools. And if no one's near that, obviously no one's near that simple. I mean, the entire sales tax goes to education. Part of the rooms and meals tax goes to education. Part of this vehicle tax, what they call it, goes to education. So there are other funding sources. So how many other funding sources are there lurking out there that are being underutilized? I will say one thing that's in Act 73 that I really hope they can figure out how to implement is a higher tax rate on second homes. That's the general statement, but it's a really hard one to implement because do they consider your rental property a second home because you aren't living in it? That's the things you got to be able to peel away so you don't affect the housing market. But at the same time, maybe you can hit some of the very expensive homes that yeah, they're paying property tax just like you and I do. And once again, I'm going to share my own opinion is if they can afford $2 million house in Vermont, they probably can afford more. And the argument against that is that they don't require the services. Why should they be paying more? That's a legitimate argument, but nonetheless, the personnel and the people it takes to support their lifestyle are the people that work, mow the lawns, and do it.
Okay. So first of all, the rental property, you don't get the state assistance on your property tax.
You're right.
So you pay the full tax that you're being charged for that property. Yeah, right. So I'm not in favor of seeing that go up.
No, I don't think that's what the current taxes is trying to deal with now. Because right now it's homestead and non-homestead. Non-homestead would be your business, or at least a portion of your property for your business. Something like Daniel's Construction, they're considered non-homestead, obviously, but they're trying to sandwich in a third layer so that for a little bit extra revenue.
Okay, so one other observation on everything you said suggests that you have been in the legislature before. And that is everything you talk about is where do we get more money? Instead of how do we spend less money? Which is another option.
It is. We're on the air, so we're going to be a little bit careful. We have a potential, I'm probably going to say this at the school board meeting because, and I'm not.
Well, you better, because you're gonna hear it if you don't.
School choice in Weathersfield cost us a lot of money. I'll just leave it at that. It really does.
We've always looked at that as a benefit.
Does it affect? It's been reported, and I don't know if it's 100% accurate, that it has benefited the demographics that we have in Weathersfield. One thing that it certainly appears is that the population of our school is stable, while a lot of other schools has going down significantly. Is that why? It is to some people. I can guarantee you that. Or I talk to some people. I choose Weathersfield because, and if you get rid of it, I don't know if they're all going to move, but nonetheless, we send Windsor High School $1 million in tuition. Okay.
How many towns around us have school choice like this?
West Windsor used to have it. They don't anymore. It didn't kill them.
So we're kind of unique in this area.
I'm trying to come up with another one nearby that we could relate to, and I'm not coming up. I mean, there's a lot of them across the state.
But not in Windsor County.
Pardon me?
But not in Windsor County.
I'm not bringing one up right offhand, and I don't have a, whether it's 100
Well,
or.
if it was very common, you'd be able to list them right off. But my point is that we're kind of an island in an area that doesn't often.
Okay, but Heartland,
They have school choice.
they do. The primary SU, but they have school choice.
But my first thought on school choice is that's not the strength of our school. School choice for high school, I don't think is our primary draw to our school. We've got a great school.
School choice does for all. It's a really important thing to learn. Come to Weathersfield because that's school choice.
And just so it's absolutely clear that school choice, let's say you choose to send your kid to KUA, we pay the state average. We don't pay full tuition.
No.
If you send your kid to Hanover, which is a public school, we pay the full Monte. This is an interesting thing. Springfield's tuition is higher than Hanover.
Really?
Yep. By more than a few dollars. And here's another thing that even they give us the tuition numbers so we can dovetail them into our budget, they're allowed to adjust them in December. And they never go down. Woodstock increased theirs this year. I don't have the exact number, but they said, no, we were off by X amount. You're going to pay us. We had to pay them. And it wasn't in the budget.
John, another question that's kind of I know these questions put you on the spot. I kind of apologize, but I kind of
No, you don't.
I can always say I don't know.
Yeah. What would the chances be of separating the two budgets, the SU and the school? And what would that look like? Would that be worth looking into?
To have our own SU?
To have a separate vote on the SU budget as opposed to the current mechanism.
That's been discussed outside of meetings. The budget would never pass. It would never ever pass.
For the
So what
SU?
do you do?
For the SU?
You're correct.
Cool.
You can't get a budget pass. It would default to the year before. But if their expenses have gone up, aka special ed, what do?
But if your budget doesn't pass, then you don't have the support of the people. And isn't that kind of what it's supposed to be?
I'm not sure I can ask you how it's run. Would it be more efficient if it was larger? Nobody's proven that to me. That doesn't mean the economy of scale that Act 73 is supposed to create might, but we enjoy what I consider a good superintendent. I think she does a really good job, and she won't be here tomorrow night, but nonetheless at our meeting tomorrow night, she's always at our meeting. She's always available, and she does things that you don't think a superintendent usually does. Is she getting paid pretty big money? Reasonably. My gut feeling is that if you had a much larger SU, the person at the top of the pyramid would probably be making twice what she makes. And then there'd be several people underneath making the same thing she's making.
I remember the whole push to consolidate into an SU. And I remember at a town meeting, the person that was speaking comes out and says that, why would you have 3 people buying toilet paper when you could have 1? But it's, again, back to my original opening statements. I'm not seeing a savings year over year in the operation of the SU. Certainly not the school budget, and the SU is a big part of that budget.
It is. And one thing that pointed out to me is that, let's say we wanted to shave, we said if Weathersfield said shave $100,000 off the SU budget, they'd have to shave $400 because it affects 2 other districts, Hartman and Mount Scott. So it, I agree with you, Mike, to a certain level, and I'd like to pretend that I was knowledgeable enough to offer solutions, and that maybe the FU is the problem. I really don't think it is. Um, yeah, and well, that's why I kind of was coming at this from a question standpoint. Is I don't know what the answers are either. Only that the problem is schools costing too much money. I mean, it's the most. The kids are our future, and they're the most important investment we're going to make in a lifetime. That's the bottom line. And we've got to educate our children. But we can't go broke doing it. I don't disagree with you. And once again, it goes back to somewhat how promoted the club. And we went from an agrarian society with, well, it's interesting to go back and look at Weathersfield, 13 school districts, 13 teachers. Right now we have, well, more than that, but anyway. My wife is a proponent to go back to one-room schoolhouses. And I don't think we're going that far direction, but education has just changed so much, especially in the last 20 years. And you're right, Act 60, Act 40, those were supposed to save us all kinds of money. Those savings never materialized. No, which means there's a problem. And that's why I brought up the question of the legislature kicking them in the butt, go back and fix the problems. Whatever those problems are, and if something there is not working. One of the things that drives the per pupil cost is the decline in the population. Okay, biblical, go forth and multiply. We're doing it very good. I'll do it right after you do. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. Okay, budget, Brandon, budget overview for 2027.
We can start with fund balance.
Where's that?
Uh, So for FY24, this was just reconciled today. So for FY24, our fund balance was 177,000.
Say that again?
In FY24, our fund balance was 177,000.
Why are we talking FY24?
Because that's the last audit. So our last audited fund balance was $177,117.
June 30, 2025.
Our FY25 fund balance is estimated to be $28,944, and that's estimated.
Say that number again, please.
$28,944. Estimated FY25 fund balance. It's unaudited.
That's kind of close. That's where it should.
Our FY26 committed fund balance is $30,000.
What's committed fund balance?
So we committed $30,000 to this FY26 budget, the general fund, to reduce the property tax need.
So say that again, the committed
It's
fund.
30,000. And that's our actual budget. In FY26, use of fund balance is 40,000 estimated. In FY27, we applied $60,000 into the budget to reduce property tax need.
What should say that was?
60,000. That leaves the net $76,061 remaining to be allocated. We hold a $30,000 contingency, leaving us with a net $46,061.
What's the contingency for?
The contingency is we do it in each of our budgets. It's a budgetary contingency.
So it's to cover unexpected expenses.
So you have $46,000 that do you have proposals, if I may? No.
Yeah, go ahead.
46,000, you're gonna propose some deposits to reserve accounts, or do you have places you plan on?
So my recommendation is to let FY 25 be audited. Can confirm that number will change slightly to the 28,944. And in July, when we set the tax rate, if the capital plan is approved, I think whatever the net difference is, we apply it as a credit on the tax bill to reduce the property tax need, the initial jump in the account.
Okay.
Why are we so far behind in audits?
There's only a couple of auditing companies, and a
I
lot.
think getting in a lot of trouble with two audits. You know,
I think everything's in order.
right, Claremont's a good example of that.
Yeah, I think that's a different situation than us. Our audits really are not behind. So a year has to end.
Yeah.
So June 30th just ended. And then you go into audit, and they came in October, November, early in January. So I don't think we're late this year.
Yeah.
The FY 24 audit was late. The FY 25 audit.
25, you just finished 26.
Yeah, but your fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025.
We're in FY 26.
Okay.
So FY 26
July 1st started
Gotcha.
26.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. So we're not that far.
And a little bit further back in history for the members, prior to the current audit team, the last audit team was canned for being late year after year after year, and tell us how we could and could not do things, including reserve accounts. They said we couldn't have reserve accounts that were voted on by the people.
Yeah.
Legal.
They wanted everything combined into one.
They had.
They turned everything on our heads.
Yep. So they went away and we're with somebody new. And I like Brandy just said, I don't think they've over the past few years we've been using them.
The only one that was late was FY 24. And
they told us it was going to.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
they did. And there was a shortage in accountants. In certified public accountants. So,
But it just wasn't late. They said, look, this is not going to happen. Sorry.
and no complaints with our current. So, moving on to having fun.
I'm going out of order. Or was that the general fund?
So
The general fund. Okay.
Highway fund in FY 24. Again, the reason why I'm going all the way back to FY 24 is because that's the last audited fund balance. $127,265. In FY 25, our estimated fund balance is $49,293. In FY 26, we committed $102,500.
Say that number again.
$102,500. And that's the actual amount which budget is current budget. That's to reduce the property. 7, we're using $44,058 to reduce the property tax need. That leaves a net $50,000. We build a contingency of $30,000, and that is 0.
Okay, that last bit again, FY 27, 44,058 to reduce tax need, and then what?
The net is $30,000 remaining.
Okay, and that's the contingency. So we have contingencies in both the highway and the general fund?
Yep, $30,000 each.
We started heading in this direction like 5 years ago. We were ending up 100,000 plus in both of these accounts at the end of the year. Surplus. So we're getting closer. But you don't want to be on the other side of zero either. So
Just to kind of put that into perspective, that represents about 1.7% that we're going to see. Is pretty low. Housing agencies for each budget.
I'll jump in there and give some more history to the board. Under Jim Mullen, he wanted 4%. And Ed Morris wanted, I think, he wanted 7 that evolved to like 10 or 11. After going to some group meetings of managers and stuff in some other state.
I think because we have a rainy day fund, we're comfortable with the 1.7%. All right. Now let's move on to
Sorry.
budgets. Overall, we're proposing a 3.88% increase across our 3 primary funds. The general fund reflects a 4.10% increase, which includes the use of 60,000 fund balance as we disclosed to help reduce the FY27 property tax need. Primary revenue changes includes reduction in land use revenue, reduction in the use of fund balance in the fire department, reduction in town clerk revenue, as many services are being included on this result. Projected increase in police fines, so revenue due to enhanced traffic enforcement, including speeding and moving violations. They're also doing targeted patrols, and it's revealing that we have some problems. Primary expense changes, cost of living adjustment at 3.5%, restructuring of healthcare, reduction in the principal clerk line from 32,000 to 8,200, reduction in the administration healthcare line from 54,000 down to 35,000, an increase in general town insurance expenses by 12,000, an increase of 2,000 for maintenance of town parks, minor increases across shared services departments. Finance department is increasing by the cost of living. Since the contract funding following the compensation study. Since budgeting is budgeting due to recent turnover in the executive secretary position, the executive secretary account and the land use assistant account may be combined to create a single part-time position. And that's what we get together and just learn this information Friday. So we'll start. Weathersfield Fire Department budget requests during the transition. As a quick,
Can you just say where, on which page you're talking about?
At 25 and 55 now.
25?
Draft Weathersfield Fire Emergency Services budget. That's great.
Once you get lost, it's, I think you're just reading the summary.
Yeah, he's got to look it up.
Yeah, all right. If you're keeping up, you're just following down through the budget in your packet.
and that's exactly how I wrote my notes, is I went through the budget and
Yeah, so it's 25, 55 as the draft Weathersfield Fire Emergency Services.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Weathersfield Fire Department budget reflects a period of transition. You see some fluctuation in the budget, but overall this budget increases 1.23% or 4,900. The police department budget is increasing by 5.88%, reflecting higher service costs consistent with town employees. Sheriff's Department deputies will also be receiving increases from the permit, which we believe are well deserved given the level of service provided to Weathersfield. Library Board of Trustees approved their budget back on December 18th. They talked to me and I attended that meeting.
Where did the library get all their money from? Do we as taxpayers have money that we set aside that we library, or is that all funded through them?
It's all funded taxation.
So we're paying for that.
Eric, within the general fund budget, we Weathersfield go to through the general fund tax lien. So there's no revenue that they generate outside. They do have donations and so forth, but that's all separate.
Yeah, I was just curious. So in other words, every taxpayer in this town pays for the arts, for the library.
Yep, they pay the 160.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what my question was. I thought that was different money. I didn't know that that was money that everyone paid for. Do you have anything on solid waste?
If there's some questions on the general fund, I would ask the board to consider a motion to approve the FY 27 general fund budget in the amount of $2,053,623. $1,658,018 to be released to the property tax.
That amount here somewhere.
Where do I see that?
I know I was wondering the same thing.
Is it on that first page?
Yes, if you move to the overview on the first page of the budget.
Municipal tax, yep. Expense, general highway, total municipal tax rate.
So the next page, Mike,
Next one, draft budget, all funds.
that one.
Alright, so are you looking on page 60?
It's this one right up.
Page 1655, yeah.
So it's a line item here, $2,054,621 is the total.
Yep.
And the tax need is $1,659,016.
Where do you see that?
Where's that number?
I don't see that.
Look up on the screen, Mike. Here.
Oh,
I don't wanna.
I see it now.
It's in my
Tax
page.
revenue. I got you.
This number here.
One minute.
Whatever, it's way at the top. 1,659,000, is that what you said?
Yep.
1,659,016. Those are the numbers you want?
Yes.
And the other one is right here. Make a motion to accept this is a general fund budget, right? It's general fund budget, $2,054,621, of which $1,659,016 will be raised by property taxation.
For a second? Second. Any discussion?
This is a 4.15% increase. A change of $81,840. Grand list, how much is a penny this year?
It's roughly 34,000.
Roughly 34, so 64, so about 2.5 cents, which I think it says on page 1.024 pennies.
Yeah.
Is the total increase in general fund. Just putting that out there so everybody is part of the information.
Wish I could jump around quite that quickly.
I've been doing it a day or two.
Yeah. Ah. Got it.
It takes a while to make it.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't even noticed here under the tax rate count. It's in the small finishes.
Okay, all those in favor of the general fund signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries with all ayes. Highway fund, do we have one for that one?
Yep, I printed a new copy here. Made a couple of changes today. Tax need for the highway fund is increasing due to use of fund balance. So we used a lot of fund balance. It's 102,000. This year we don't have. We have 40,000. So yeah, a significant difference in this fund balance in the department. $15,400 less once this year. That happens if we increase in taxes to offset it. That was done in this budget. Obviously, so part of the reason, obviously, the 8% increase in taxation. After receiving notification of several motorized equipment reviews, marking additional review of the budget today, funding was redistributed to better reflect actual expenses. The bottom line budget remains unchanged, so it's still the same. However, separate line items are created. Motorized equipment, supplies, parts and components. So stuff. Look at supplies, parts, and components. You see 28,500 in FY26.
Sorry, how much did you say?
28,500. And that's right up on the screen.
Okay, yep.
We're projecting, right now it's projected at 13,676. These are new accounts, so we're still going through the year. We budgeted 20,000 in that account, so we reduced it from 28 to 20. And repairs non-vehicle, which if you look at the screen, let's see, 20,000. We brought that down to 15,000. And where we did the biggest shift was to repairs. Motorized equipment. Second thing. The budget is 27,000. We're projected to spend about 51,000 this year.
What's the line item number on that?
It's the second line item on the second page.
Repairs vehicles?
Yeah. 27,000.
Yep.
And we put in 43,500. If the capital plan is voted down, we will need to rely on reserves to repair the existing fleet. And we'll likely see a significant increase in the equipment repair line in FY28. So that's important to know because right now, this year, it's 51,000, so projected in motorized equipment repairs. Capital plan is voted down.
So, if the capital plan gets voted down, what are we due to replace that's in the capital plan for this next year? I guess that would be my question.
So the capital plan.
Because that would be, we would have to think about, how do you do that? If they voted down, you need to replace the vehicle.
I think we need to.
Because you can't do an article.
You don't have to come back and do a special meeting.
Okay.
But there's something that happens even before that is we ended up with what was it well, 30,000 contingency moving in. I forget what the leftover 30,000 contingency that's left
Nothing
over.
like that.
But you also right because the
once you take a contingency out, you nothing left.
Correct, but the contingency is a carryover. Contingency is here to hold up the budget at the end of the next year.
Yeah.
So
we looked at using the rainy day fund and reserves. We have 3 pieces of equipment next year. And well dump truck and grader.
And plus repairs.
Plus. So I mean, we have to do a little bit more analysis on the repairs because we have a 1978 tractor, we have a 2005 John Deere loader. But this same little dump truck is 2012. 2012.
Right.
The grader is 2021.
But it's still under warranty.
Correct.
So we don't want to keep that grader beyond that. that term.
We lost 75,000 between 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, it's an art.
We failed to
That's correct.
move forward. So,
Yeah.
I think if it gets voted down, we just go back and we restructure it, with the loan option and reduce it.
So- Can you clarify something for me? Under repairs and vehicles, you said this year we're spending 51,000 for repair, but you budgeted 43,500. When you say this year, I'm not sure which year you're talking.
That's because we did the repairs needed. So we're talking about FY26.
So FY26, we're projected to spend 51,000.
Yep.
On repairs. So you're thinking FY27, 43,500 should be reasonable.
Yeah, based on the repairs that have been made.
Okay.
And the repairs that may be.
So, okay, so our last budget was 27,000, but we're looking to spend 51. So we're a little out of sync with the budget.
And when you say may be needed, becomes relative to capital plan passing as well.
And these are uncertainties that are limiting the capital plan because everything will be in warranty.
Right.
It's really hard to predict like,
What's going to break down?
Yeah.
what's going to break.
Yeah.
But also what you need to grasp here for us common folk is if that plan passes, these are going to generate surpluses in the following year.
Potentially.
Potential. Right,
You're
potentially.
reducing that.
That's what I'm talking about. That if you do end up with a surplus, you'll be able to dump like you're planning to do with that 46,000.
Yes.
You'll still have a piece that you can apply to that so that those numbers start to come in. This first year is the one that's going to be the struggle. That's really got to figure out how to sell that.
And yes, and I think over time we will see repairs go away.
Yes.
Not completely, but certainly a lot less than we're spending now. But if we don't do anything, we're going to see that repair line start to creep up.
Right. And this is where you separated repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
For that reason.
So we can start tracking it so we can see what's happening.
Individual, because they're different things.
We had one account with like 75,000 in it. It was for repairs and supplies.
Yes.
And that's what we broke out here. So you can clearly see what we're spending.
I may have misheard you. In the beginning, I thought you said the highway budget was up by 8%.
That's the tax rate. Tax rate's up 8.57%, but the total budget increase of 2.2%. The reason the tax rate's up so much is because we applied $102,000 in fund balance last year, and we have $44,000 to apply this year. So there's a shift in revenue to tax rate.
So the change in tax need is under the change in tax rate column. Is that what you're? You do not see the numbers that you're talking.
In the dark.
It says 2.2%.
That's what you just said.
But look at the first line item in the revenues.
Yes.
Yeah.
8.75.
That's the tax revenue.
That's just the increase in tax revenue. That's not the overall budget.
But the overall budget expense increase is 2.2%.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But the reason why we've broken out that tax revenue line is so that everybody can fairly see what the tax increase is. Because the tax increase is different than your overall increase. It's the amount of taxes that you use, which is depending on the other revenues that you use. So you can see revenues on the side. See this.
So is this a budget we can approve tonight, or is this one of the ones that we have to put on the lab tomorrow?
So this is, we are ready for votes. This is absolutely down. So if there's no other questions, I'll ask the board to consider a motion to approve the FY27 highway bond budget. Name on $1,311,796 with $1,085,062 for those.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carry.
Solid waste fund budget. You just go home. We held a transfer station committee meeting on 12/23 because our select board rep to that committee meeting. The select board chairs from West Windsor and Reading were also there, and we discussed the budget. And we discussed whether to hire a third employee. Police station gave a report to the board a couple meetings ago about options for punch tickets. Right now we have a stopgap of money. We still need to invest. We still need to discuss our punch ticket system.
I'm looking into getting a kiosk at the transfer station. What happened to that?
I'm not sure where it is currently at with that. I think we need to have just a separate discussion on the punch tickets and the kiosks again after we do some research.
I thought that was the plan.
The plan is to do a kiosk.
He was supposed to be looking into that.
Yeah.
Where we would
Yes.
print the tickets, right? The transfer station, there's no money there, there's nothing, but.
Yeah.
And then come back and discuss those options once he had.
And that is the plan. I think he's has to complete his research and then come back to the board. I'm not sure where he's at with that right now, but
Is that right on there?
it's
No. Not on the agenda.
we talked about the cost of the employee and how we could cover the cost of the employee. And we discussed increasing revenue. We discussed that we may be able to increase revenue by having a third employee. So it'd be a operating efficiency. Some other approach that we talked about was we accepted the loss of revenue that results from the lack of that's something we thought about and that we've accepted because the cost of having another employee may exceed the value of the operational efficiency. We discussed the increased employee availability with limited the need for highway operators to step in. And when they do that, they cover that time in half. So like an employee, transfer station employee goes on vacation, we have a highway operator coming in, working time in half. So that would be like a pro. Because we would be a little bit of some calculating. If we did add a third employee, it would result in Reading's share going up 46.41 annually. Windsor's share would go up 84.91 annually. And Weathersfield's share would go up 15,986. The committee also talked about the cons of hiring. If increased revenues do not ultimately match the increased costs, compensation, and maybe prefer to hold off on hiring and available funding towards hiring waste management. So members ultimately decided that they would like me to advertise an RFQ, hire a waste management consultant, and do an entire operational review of the transfer station.
Haven't we done that already? What did Ted Seekler do?
He did, but that was a transition to a 3-down system. It wasn't an operational right.
Okay.
This is like, where can we improve operational efficiency? Should the CND be where it's at? How can we restructure it? Maybe shift some things around.
You have a ballpark figure of what that might cost?
I would say rough numbers like between 5,000 and 10,000 maybe.
And that would come out of the solid waste budget?
Yep, and that would result in probably deficit spending it, and then increase the permits for the next year.
So you're putting out an RFP for that?
I would put out an RFQ and get the actual cost back, and then basically.
Have you been directed to do that by the committee, or are you thinking about it?
The 3 members of the committee did ask me to advertise an RFQ. I don't know if that was like that group.
Well, the RFQ's request for quote. So it's not a request to hire.
No,
So it's a request for.
is it for a quote or qualification?
It's a request for. So advertise that still. See votes and conversation votes. Determine whether.
I would welcome anyone from that board to come sit with me on Saturday and Sunday while I'm selling tickets and observe what's going on. As you've already learned from my 2 days there this week, I saw a lot of stuff. Not bad, not bad. Just stuff that you just don't think about. Saturday morning, I got there at 8 o'clock. And out of the first 15 cars that came through between 8 and 9 o'clock, only 2 or 3 of them stopped at MSW. We had extreme waste, which is where you punch. All of them were driving through, dumping their free stuff. Nobody's stopping, so they don't know if they got a ticket. You know, so right there, you just don't know. Did they have a ticket? Do they have a sticker on the car? Do we know if they're supposed to be using it, or did they just drive through and use it? We don't have the staff to verify this. So how much are we sacrificing that stuff going on? You know, I told Bernie, he's like, wow, that's a really good observation. Like, that's the first thing I saw.
The biggest observation, I mean, that's a big observation, but I think the second one, punch tickets.
Yeah.
So there are still punch tickets being used that were created prior to us developing the new punch ticket, which is not able to be copied. So
Who knows how many of those are actually copies?
exactly.
Gotcha.
So we're currently monitoring that.
I gotta tell, I'm guilty, number one. I go to the transfer station twice, usually on a weekend. All my trash, I don't like to put stuff on my back seat. So I'll take my trash to the dump once, and then I'll come home and I'll get my recycle, and then I go to the recycle. I don't stop the second time because I already did my trash the time before. I'm sorry, I'm anal, I don't want stuff on the back seat.
At least 3-4 years old. We're going to start every time. I don't want to see this on camera.
No.
Yeah.
We can discuss this stuff.
Okay.
If you want, I'll do an executive session for a quick presentation.
Ultimately, the transfer station committee budget and they decided to do it.
Well, so this budget does not include funding for an additional employee. Is that?
No, that's what the RFQ is for, to figure out.
But if we decided to, like, let's say we decided to hire a new, the result is going to be specific in the front spot. So if we deficit spend it,
Okay.
it's just going to drive the cost of the
I
same.
completely understood.
So it'd be the same thing as if we decided to do it now. We just want to learn it one time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we have to wait until June 30th of 2027. He understands that and supports that. If we do decide to do it, we can suspend it. The allocations.
We're not making that decision until we get an RFQ that tells us, or we get a consultant that says, yes, you hire.
Yes.
Right. And because it's an enterprise fund, doesn't matter when you do, you don't have to go on fiscal. Because it's good, as soon as you implement it, it starts to offset itself. Is the theory.
It does. I mean, there's no way it wouldn't, because it would continue dividing it, and next year would be by 5 years and much more.
So could we push that to the top of, somewhere near the top of your post-budget priority list?
Yes.
Future agenda items.
No, it's okay, because it's not going on the agenda until
Yep.
it's, until it Tell me something, we have something.
Sit in the back
I
row.
just wanna see you get that, get it out there.
Oh, the RFQ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have that out by the end of June. That's on my action list.
Okay, okay. I just didn't want it to get forgotten.
You can see,
The sooner we solve this problem, the better. And we need the
We
information.
need to make a motion to approve the
Absolutely.
solid waste fund for $104,556.
I have one more comment.
Okay.
We set January as the end of January as the date to get the RFQ vote, and we're holding the transfer station committee meeting in March to review them. So, and I'll keep it from that second.
So
February 28th,
Kelly, what was that number?
$104,566 for solid waste.
No,
No.
that's revenue. That's just the revenue. That's just,
Solid waste expenses, $445,000. Is that right? $440,000.
537. Yes.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, what's the bond? What's the waste management fee? What is that? On your little box. I'm looking on your little tax box. Where it says solid waste, it has expenses, and then down it says other taxes and fees, waste management fee, $104,566. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at this.
Oh, so that's our share of the,
That's our share of the transfer station.
yeah, so that's our allocation is 104,000.
You got a typo in.
What?
SOILD, soil waste.
That's all. So we need
So what do we need to?
$445,537 for solid waste.
Are you making that?
Is that the correct number?
I want to make sure it's the correct number before I accept it.
It is correct. I'm just looking for the.
Looking for the error.
I see it. Okay. It's on the tax return.
So that's
Yes.
what you want us to approve, the $445,537
Yes.
to be raised in taxes.
Yeah. Not to be raising taxes. Just approve the budget.
Just approve the, yeah. I make a motion to approve the solid waste budget for FY 27 of $445,537.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Review the draft of town warning articles.
So you found out we weren't able to put these headings in here
Yep, we can. Well, I'm checking on whether we can do it on the actual ballot.
on the ballot.
So that we'll definitely be able to put it in the town report. Sure, we're going to the ballot yet.
Here, a raised hand here. Yes, August.
Hello, Chair. I just had a short piece of feedback relating to the articles from the Budget Committee. We met last week on January 8th. We did a final review of the town budgets and articles. Several of the items raised relating to articles at earlier meetings were resolved. They include removing 3 proposed articles that has happened over the past couple months, the combination of 2, the technology article, and listing articles with those titles or categories that you just mentioned in the warning. At last week's meeting, we did do one vote to provide a recommendation to the Selectboard. It related to Article 19. The committee voted unanimously to remove this article, which is not in our budget. It's a $5,000 request for Springfield area public TV. Weathersfield recently made technology purchases and is successfully recording and posting our meeting videos without cost. And the recommendation that we made is to remove this article. It will lower the number of articles by 1, but it'll also avoid an unnecessary $5,000 budget increase. So that's Article 19. Our unified recommendation was to remove that article. The only other thing I would mention is we did have questions about Article 18, which is the visiting nurses. We all recognize the value of the services they provide. The article is for $10,500. I would note that 80% of their funding is received through Medicare and Medicaid. And just recently, Vermont was the recipient of $195 million in new federal funding from Medicare and Medicaid. So there's a lot in motion, and I know that we've reached out to State Representative V.L. Coffin, who's monitoring it at the state level. However, we didn't vote or recommend the article be removed with the uncertainty of how that new funding is going to impact the rural communities. We just wanted to raise the awareness that the visiting nurses, the average visit was, I think, $33. One of our committee members pointed out. So it's a value, but the municipal government, by including this in our budget, we are funding local health care. The visiting nurses is affiliated with Dartmouth, and they do receive, once again, 80% of their funding from Medicare and Medicaid. So we just wanted to point out that going forward, we may want to see how that funding rolls out. And if federal and state funds are available to support that nonprofit in the future, that might be something to look at in terms of how their funding is supported by Weathersfield. That's all we had for feedback. We want to thank the town manager and the select board members who joined us at meetings. Thank you for your time.
Go ahead.
But, August, was there this is Mike Todd, is there a number, from last year's budget, or from their last request? What was their last request for?
I think it was similar. I think Brandon probably knows the exact number. I think it might have been 12,000 or 12,300. I believe it's in this ballpark.
33 for some reason.
Okay.
Did we get copies of the paperwork from all these that DeForest had asked for?
There was we do have the copy upstairs.
There were like 5 things that are required from each application, and they were not included in our packet, which was totally fine. But
Yeah.
the question was, had we received those from every one of the people that applied for money?
I'm gonna call Suzanne. Really
Because if
quick.
we didn't,
Yeah.
they should be automatically stricken.
I believe that we have, but I just want to verify with Suzanne.
Yeah, we need to verify because we're gonna vote on if we're gonna vote on the articles, we
We
gotta
can't
know.
vote on these till tomorrow night.
Right.
Oh, there's-
Okay, that's right.
You had, go ahead. DeForest had said something about how the first 3 articles were mandated by the state. And did
I was gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
Right, so I'll circle back around
Answer
to
machine.
that tomorrow night.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You
And
guys want-
the second part of that question was, if that was given, if they were provided, do we have someone on staff who is able to? I mean, why do we ask for that information as a bureaucratic headache, or are we actually looking for specific information that will tell us how this organization is handling their money? Do we have someone on staff that's qualified to do that? Do we have someone on staff who has the time to do that?
I think it boils down to the time, but I'll ask Suzanne tomorrow and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, at the very least, we need to know that all of the applicants provided all of the info. It's like you put out a request for bid, you have tally sheets of what you're asking for. You automatically disqualify bidders that don't provide the information you're requesting. I don't see why this would be any different.
And I believe that they all have provided the information because Suzanne the way that it works internally is Suzanne gives me a list. She highlights the one where the information is still pending, and then she unhighlights it over time. I gave her the town meeting warnings, and she reviewed it and said everything looked good, but I didn't actually ask that question.
Okay.
So I just want to ask that question before I answer it. So
Along those
Sure.
same lines, Article 18 says visiting nurses. Is that their proper title? Is there a 501c3 whose complete name is?
I could help
Visiting.
answer that if you'd like.
Go ahead.
So when I researched it, it's visiting nurses of Southern Vermont and New Hampshire, and the nickname they go by is just visiting nurses, and they're affiliated through Dartmouth Hitchcock. So they're work through Dartmouth Hitchcock. And I hope that helps a little.
I would like their proper name in the article.
Yeah,
Not a nickname.
it should be. I think, I mean, just because I'm a visiting nurse, and I have some money.
Yeah. If that's the name on their 501c3, then fine, but if it's not, we should have the full name on the. Article, specifically Article 3, shall the voters of the town of Weathersfield authorize the select board to borrow money if necessary to pay current expenses in anticipation of taxes in accordance with the provisions of Title 24, Section 1786 from Austin. According to the webinar that I just attended on town meeting articles and such, this article should not be here because we run a risk of the voters turning it down, which means this is not something that the voters weigh in on. This is something that's statutorily granted to the select board to do. By putting it on here, we run the risk of the voters voting it down, which puts us in a bit of a bind. So it's an unnecessary, actually improper article.
It's
It's
been
traditionally been here forever, but it's not.
Yeah.
We are statutorily authorized to do this. We do not need the voters' approval to borrow money in anticipation of taxes.
Okay,
It's
cause I probably get it put back on here. Because it had gotten removed, and I was like, where did this go?
It shouldn't be there.
And I did it just based on history.
I don't know about the Proctor Library trustees. I don't know if they are, it quotes statute here, but I haven't read the statute, so I don't know if they are also statutorily authorized to do this. If that's the case, the voters have no place in giving them permission to do that. And the first one,
The library is 2.
yeah, Article 2, what did I say?
We're in Article 3.
Well, I'm referring to Article 2. I don't know if that needs to be
No,
there.
Article 2 is the one that borrow money. You have
Article 2 is for the library trustees.
Yes.
I don't know what the law says about them.
Yeah,
Article 3 is about the select board, and that should not be there.
right, that's what, yeah.
I'm saying, I don't know if Article 2 needs to be there or not. If they're statutorily authorized, the voters should not be weighing in on it. And then Article 1, shall the voters of the town of Weathersfield accept the reports of the town's officer? Okay. It's a point article.
Why would the voters have the authority to refuse monies, gifts and bequests that were made directly to the library?
I don't know.
It's not tax money, it's.
I don't know. I should look up that statutory reference to see what it says. All I know is that the select board is already authorized to do this, and we do not need the voters' permission to do it.
Well, what about Article number 4?
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. I don't know what everything.
They hire us to do the business, why should that even be?
Why do we need permission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Article 4 is to transact any other business deemed proper. So like, if during the meeting, kind of like the select board has any other business on the agenda, I've always interpreted that as the town's ability to put something on the warning. Or discuss something that's not on the warning.
I don't think they can do that.
Yes, they can.
Can they discuss it? When this warning has to
We-
be on a timeline of how far in advance voters have to be notified? How can we
that's
conduct
what
business that
Article
haven't been?
To transact any other business deemed properly met. Yeah, it's.
It just sounds funny.
It does, and I don't know what it means.
It's
but
always-
I'm not
It-
commenting
it-
on that.
Well, it is, again, it is. Business deemed proper when met. Okay, so you have a Warren town meeting. And. There could be some business that could come up or arise, that. Perhaps it's emergency or something like that, that we alone don't have the authority on, we could deal with it at that town meeting. That type of thing. I'm also, I don't remember all of the circumstances, but I do recall a motion on the floor. Dave Fuller remembers this very vaguely, he's talked to me about it several times. I think it had to do with Sean Whalen. And he put a motion on the floor and that motion was tabled. Which means it becomes the first item on the agenda at the next town meeting. And that's never come back. And that there was a motion, there was amendments, and it was never a vote. And that thing's been hanging out there for a while.
So you, strike Article 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm fine with striking Article 3. That one I've kept up with.
Everyone moves up.
More
Okay.
research on the library trustees and whether they're already legally authorized to do
If
that.
they're-
I don't know the history of it, it's just always been here since I've been here.
Yeah, but if
So
there's
it's
statute, because if the voters voted down,
What-
that's them in a terrible.
What do you do with the
Well,
money?
hang on. Grant monies, gifts or bequests, which may be received by the Proctor Library. So this is not money in the budget. It's not money that we already know of. This is money that could come to them. Somebody dies and leaves them $80,000. The library trustees are the ones that handle that
Right.
funding, not us.
Right.
Right, the
This-
townspeople though,
Correct.
So why would the town?
it shouldn't even be in.
Yeah, I don't think it should be in it.
Why should we vote on, why should
If
the,
can you
But
look at the statutory reference?
Yeah, and the town attorney recently changed this to be correct. So I'm not so sure that. I think there's a reason behind it.
For the library?
Yeah.
It's because the library is a town organization and the whole function is under the general fund budget. Even though they do the budget and they present it to us, we put it to the voters as part of the general fund. But any of this money is not included in that, and they would have it's the voters giving them the authorization to take care of that money as well. They could put it in a reserve account, they could buy something with it. But it's giving them specifically. You know, the select board can come out and say, well, wait a minute, you gotta give that to us.
yeah,
You know, we gotta handle that for you. But and I think that's, I don't know, I'm
Just
looking
leave it
it
there.
up now.
yeah,
Yeah,
just leave it there.
leave it there.
I mean, they replaced the lighting in the library, and that was done with monies from Efficiency Vermont and
So they're
a
making a grant.
gift from one of the trustees. And I think that covered the
So there's a
entire
grant
expense
and
of
a
it.
gift.
So it never ran through the town
No,
per se.
no.
And it seems ridiculous that the trustees would, I mean, that the townsfolk would be able to say, sorry, no, you can't do that. Because it didn't cost the town anything.
Mm-mm.
Looks quite nice, by the way.
Mm.
Any,
Good
any other,
library.
any other questions on these,
No, but those are the only ones I know.
on the warnings? We'll just go on more discussion tomorrow night on these, right?
Yeah, the purpose tonight was to
Just
let me know if there's any articles that you guys want to remove. I think the budget committee made a recommendation on SAPA. Does the board want to act at all on that?
SAPA's, I think when they came here, said it did not matter whether we paid them or not, they were still gonna be recording those meetings. Whether they got $5,000 from us or not, so.
Well, I agree with the budget committee. $5,000 seems like a lot of money from an organization we just had a falling out with.
And whose sort of services we largely duplicate right now.
That's what I'm looking at.
And are we gonna have these cameras taken down?
Yes.
Like
I mean,
Big Brother watching over us.
They're unplugged and none of the equipment's plugged in. That was SAPA equipment, but now we're using the Owl. And then we record through Zoom and put that online.
Right,
So
but do these cameras belong to us or to SAPA? I thought
To
they belonged to
SAPA.
us. Oh, they do belong to
those two
SAPA.
cameras belong to SAPA.
They
Then
can
let's
take,
take them down and give them back.
yeah. Okay, should we make a motion whether to remove number
18, isn't it?
19 off the, for article?
Yeah,
Is there a second?
So, second,
I don't think.
Oh. what is
I
there?
didn't actually make a motion.
You said yeah.
I said, yeah. Shall we remove it? And I said, yeah.
It's done.
Not that powerful.
Do you wanna take that back before us?
Yeah, I wanna be the one to make them.
I'll make the motion.
Mike made the motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, now we're to future agenda items.
well, hang on, do you want any input back to, the question on the, library?
Yeah,
Did you find
you know,
17 VSA basically addresses the select board and all of this. Yeah, it's not specific to the library.
Oh,
17 VSA 2664 is more focused on the actual language of the articles and powers of the select board, yada, yada, yada. It's not about, that section's not about the library. Here's 22-142, a municipality establishing and maintaining a library or contracting for library services may appropriate money as necessary for suitable facilities and for the foundation of a public library, and shall appropriate money annually for the maintenance, care, and increase of the library in an amount voted at its annual meeting. That's it.
doesn't say.
That
anything
It's
about-
already in the budget. We already took care of it.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
doesn't,
And
to expend grant monies, gifts or requests, which that doesn't.
Right.
Well, because they have to have a budget
But-
and raise money.
Yeah, yes, but it's not it's not breaking them down either.
it says
A
appropriate.
municipality establishing and maintaining a library,
Yeah,
yada, 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 may appropriate money as necessary funds for the foundation of the public library, and shall appropriate money annually for the maintenance, care, and increase of the library in an amount voted at its annual meeting. So the budget is in the general fund, and that's what we vote on.
This isn't.
This comes back to money that, like I was saying, it's not in the budget.
right.
But does the library board of trustees have the authority to spend that money legally, or is it?
Well, it's not,
With-
this article
with-
is
with
saying
or without
it's
this
on your
article?
budget, that this article is about if they get grants, gifts or requests, they
Yes.
have. And I don't hear that in that article, so I'm more comfortable leaving this one. alone.
Yeah.
Yes,
sounds like you're.
that's what I was saying earlier.
Okay,
It gives them gives that board the authority to handle money that's not in the budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interpreting it as well.
Right.
So
And
keep
they-
Article 2.
yeah. and delete articles.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting. So
Isn't this so fun, amazing?
Yeah.
tool?
Well, it's that one, it's, to me, hangs on semantics, because I didn't read it that way.
What's that? Number 2.
Article 2.
Oh,
This is circle back around. The board wants me to just determine whether all 5 required documents for nonprofits have been.
Yes, yes.
What controls are in place to review and monitor the funding we give them. Is that,
That's important.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the budget committee had asked.
we're gonna strike Article 3.
Yeah.
And we're gonna strike Article 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the budget.
And get the
committee-
correct name of the visiting nurses.
Yeah.
yes.
I think the headings, I think this makes it much
lovely.
clearer. I
Yeah, I
think it's a
like it.
great idea.
Very nice.
I don't know why that would not be allowed.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason, I don't see where it changes any articles.
Well, it seems to me that it just simplifies.
Well, apparently it's allowed on the warrant, but may not be allowed on the ballot. Is
Oh,
what Paul said.
We're fine on the warning.
We're fine on the warning.
Gotcha.
Okay, that
That-
makes sense.
And there's has a question off to see if she can actually physically put it on the ballot. Because she's never done it before, she just wanted to ask.
Perfectly fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
The budget committee did request that the select board review the social services policy and establish a
Yes.
floor and a ceiling.
Well, I think there were a lot of questions that,
Yeah,
those were part of it, but
okay.
They want an upper ceiling as opposed to the lower
well, it
ceiling.
would- and I think there was there was a maximum and a minimum, but there was also the discussion of should we just put a lump sum in the general fund every year and then
First come, first served.
kind of like residents in need. You come and ask for it and you have a committee or whatever that would say, okay, you get this much and you get that much, and when it's gone for the year. Instead of going through all these separate articles. So it's just another thought. Stuff to talk about.
We should put that on as a future agenda item.
Yeah.
Let's make that list longer, how much?
Well, you know what? We'll have to,
Just start whacking them off.
yeah. We'll have to have a night where we just take like half of it and say, that's what we're gonna do at the next meeting.
Nothing else, just that.
And then put a time limit on it.
Yeah, oh, yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely. Okay, is that it for that?
We might have to look into whether that's a modification of the rules. That's okay, we can.
Well, future items, rules, panel in there.
Yeah, I'll set one, we'll.
That's the contract.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we have one appointment on our list. We have, Marina Garland wants to be on the Memorial Grove Committee. She says that right now she is a current member of the Conservation Commission, the Weathersfield Land
Preservation.
Association, and the Historical Society.
I make a motion to appoint Marina Garland to the Memorial Grove Committee as the representative for the Conservation Commission.
Second. Well, go ahead, Rika, you can second.
I'll third it.
And any discussion?
This is a 1-year term, right?
Yes. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any other business?
What? Any other business?
Business.
Business.
Oh, we didn't do the warrant.
Got to the
Ah.
The warrant's next.
So close.
Is there any other business? Is there any other business?
I just.
No.
I'm looking at Mike.
No, I'll just announce, do you wanna do an executive session for a couple minutes after
Yeah,
we're done?
can
So
we do that?
we
Do we
can,
have to say what it is?
yes, well, yeah, you have to
Can
have
we
a
add
title
an
for an
executive
executive session.
Do we have a title for
It
this?
doesn't,
type?
have to be on the agenda. Executive session doesn't have to be on the
You can
agenda.
do executive session legal,
What's that?
legal?
Yes,
Executive session legal after the warrant.
legal or contracts possibly, because it's an enterprise fund. No, legal, okay, stay legal, yeah, legal.
Legal after the warrant.
It'll only be, this will only take a couple minutes,
Okay.
it won't hold us over very long.
Just, go ahead.
You want the words?
No, I just want to know what the statutory reference is for legal, what are the numbers?
Oh, Title 1, 313, and I'm not sure which letter that would be.
That's the important part.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, so it's gonna be executive session 3131.
Yeah, letter.
E.
E. Okay. So 1 VSA, section 313, 1E.
Might be 313-1. Is that, did I have that backwards, Brendan? I think it's.
No, it's 313, 1,
One,
and then a letter.
any,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
One.
that'll be after the warrant.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the warrant.
Motion to approve the warrants, January 12th, 2026. Payroll, the general fund payroll total, $44,732.59. Operating expense, $87,414.09. Highway fund payroll total, $23,035.46. Operating, $64,538.68. My apologies. Solid waste management payroll total $3,496.98. Operating $1,524.14. Library payroll $4,745.61. Operating $0. Okay, then we have a group. I believe these are grants, contracts, and I'm not sure what the other things are. Look like they might be I don't, there's a sale of a truck and possibly a interest rate on a Capital One card or something, I don't know. It's a group of items on the list. The total is $20,334.50. Grand totals payroll $76,010.64. Operating $173,811.41.
Second.
Question.
Yes.
I have one first here.
Mhm.
General fund, page 4 and 5. What is for the Reed truck, $27,305.50 for? Was that for the fire truck?
Oh, that's to pull the ladder truck out of the bushes?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
No, it says it's repairs and replacement. So it's fixing something.
I believe that's fixing fire trucks. Would you like me to call Josh Compo and just?
That's for fixing fire trucks, okay. No, you don't have to, I was just curious, it's out of their budget, it's in their budget, I don't,
It is in their budget.
okay.
So on the warrant, the 130 Maple Street expenses, what are those?
So those are for the 130 Maple Street buyout. We pay them and then we get reimbursed.
Yeah, but what are these specific expenses?
What page are you on?
I'm on the
The
very first page. I can't pronounce the first name, Shiev, 130 Maple Street, 4750. And then Capital One, 130 Maple Street, 5666.
So the first one,
That's
Is
Is that illegal?
that's legal.
That's legal.
Okay,
And then the other one is advertising.
okay. And what is this, what is the Spartan truck?
So back when we
Is that a fire truck?
agreed to pay half of the ladder truck, we purchased it from,
From a Scotty Fire?
so it was like 24,000 due.
They still
Yeah.
owe, yeah.
And we still owed them 11,970.
For
Steve
what?
Hire was waiting on, because the agreement was.
We pay half.
Step unit.
Okay,
It's got-
so we owed half of what we told them we would pay
Yes.
for. Okay, so is this the other half?
Yes,
Okay, gotcha. All right,
that's our share.
of the ladder that's now totaled.
Yeah, and well, we're getting 75,000 for it, so
Okay,
our 12,000 investment turned into 75,000 in insurance pay. Bad return in just a few months.
it's a heck of a way to get
We
it.
can do it with the other trucks.
Yeah, find some positive.
Don't get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Pay bills. Okay, motion to go into executive session for VSA Title 13131E.
So moved.
8:37.
8:37 executive session.
That needs a second.
Needs a second, look in a sec, I'll second. All in favor, let's go into.
Aye.
Aye.
Would they have to go upstairs or?
All he's gonna show us is that. Oh, just long.
Yeah, but you gotta make sure that, you gotta make sure everything's off.
Yeah, make sure everything's off.
Patience. You mind editing this in?
What do you want me to do?
And resume.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Thank you, have a nice evening. Now, let's